Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Team Liquid Legacy Star League Season 2, the final day of the round of 24. That's right, we're doing the last two groups today, groups E and F, and it should be very, very exciting. I've been promised some good games. I want good games. And yeah, really hoping for some upsets here. I'm rooting for Wands, in case anyone didn't know. Just gonna throw that out there. That's my bias of the day, cheering for Wands, or but I'm cheering for Protoss in general, so I guess that was kind of obvious. And of course, gotta cheer for G5. You know, the old guard is gonna be making an appearance as well. So let us actually just go straight and take a look at the first group. It's gonna be Group E with Napoleon, TTF, Wands, and Terror. Very interesting group actually. So Wands, of course, making huge splashes in the qualifiers, getting second place in two of them, I believe, and qualifying from points in the #1 slot by far. And basically, he's kind of like the dark horse here because, like 3 months ago, I thought he was just some random CC plus level player, and suddenly he's here, owning up really strong players. So really interested to see how he's going to do. Really hoping he gets far here. I think it would be quite amusing if he made it to the next round as well. Especially since this is still going to be a best-of-1 group stage. So anything is possible. For the other players in the group, Terra, of course, very strong. Made it to the round of 8 last season. He'll be Wands' opponent in the first game. I'm not sure what kind of form he's been on lately. I do know he's been participating still in Defiler tournaments. I think he got reasonably far last week or 2 weeks ago, but other than that, haven't seen too much of him, especially because his team didn't make the playoffs in Gambit's Cup, so you haven't seen him recently there either. Napoleon and TTF though, Napoleon and TTF, so that's going to be our opening match. Napoleon, man, last season of TLS, I was hyping this guy so much. And then this season, in one of the qualifiers, he played possibly one of the worst games of StarCraft I've ever seen in my life. It was like a 50-minute long game, but for the last 30 minutes, he had a 2-to-1 supply lead like the entire time and couldn't finish the game. At one point, he was like maxed versus 80 supply of Julia, like TVZ, and he just could not win the game. It was just mind-boggling. So that was quite frustrating to watch. Hopefully he does a little bit better here. Even though I was touting him last season, I think he got knocked out pretty handily in the round of 16, I want to say. It was one of the group stages. He didn't make it that far. And TTF was also a participant last season, but got knocked out first round in the round of 24. I mean, he's an okay-ish player, but kind of cheesy, kind of all-in-ish. Draws predicting a lot of 2-raxing or 2-facting from him, whatever the matchup may be. So that'll be interesting. And with that, I think we can go on to the first game here. It's going to be a ZVT between Napoleon and TTF. Oh, map order, by the way, is going to be the same as for all the other days, all the other groups. It will be... Oh, what's it going to be? Jade for the first 2 sets, Match Point for the winners and losers match, and then Fighting Spirit for the final match. So that means our first game is going to be on Neo Jade. Alright, here we go into game number 1 at the top right as the Brown Zerg. We do have Napoleon, and at the bottom left as the Red Terran, we have TTF. And as the good old Purple Observer, making sure that he will get kicked out of the game, is Apocalypse, or something. As long as he doesn't break our replay, I think I'll be okay with that. I actually just realized, by the way, that today's going to be quite interesting because in Group F we also have another player, DeWalt, who, should be very strong, but is also kind of out of practice a little bit. I know he's been pretty busy with exams these past few weeks. So should be good. Is this music a little bit loud, by the way? Parent theme, man, is just blaring in my headphones. Alright, fixing that right up. Anyway, so we're cross map here on Jade, which I think is probably slightly better for the Terran, just by the fact that in Pro League there weren't actually that many Zergs coming out proportionally on this map. But I think it should be fine. I've seen some pretty good games here. And it looks like Napoleon's going to do a wall off. So you can make a very nice easy tight wall with 2 depots and a barracks. Usually followed by a fast expand. Unless you're Andre, in which case you go for factory and do some weird shenanigans. Excuse me. Gonna drink some of my nice honey water here. I was actually listening to DreamHack earlier today, and man, I don't know what happened to In Control. He seems really sick or something. His voice is just really dying. I felt so bad for him because like I completely understand how weird that is and how awkward and how hard to like, you know, be trying to cast, and because casting, you know, live casting is not an easy thing already, and then to have your voice just keep dying out is pretty rough. Dude. Oh man, TTF. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at me all being like, oh, he's totally gonna 2-rack. Such a cheesy player. Well, I mean, I guess in a way, you know, 14cc, it's like the good old economic cheese, right? Like that's a thing. I'm pretty sure somebody's made that up. So, or rather made the term up. So yeah, TTF gonna be busting out that command center first. Pretty ballsy here, but you know what? I quite like this. I quite like this actually, because as you can see, it's a completely tight wall, and this is tight against Zerglings. So and they're cross map, although obviously he didn't know that when he went for the command center first. He actually hasn't even scouted yet. He'll probably go scout with this SCV that just got pulled off by this drone. But yeah, really cool play, and it's gonna pay off. I mean, Napoleon did go for the 12 hatch, so it's not like he can actually do anything here. Actually, I think he went 12 hatch. I wasn't quite paying attention. I never pay attention to the Zerg builds. I think I've decided now that I'm going to stop like trying to call the builds. I'm just going to say either hatchery first or pool first. So if I can keep it sufficiently generic, I can avoid, or I can be as least wrong as possible, if that makes sense. I think that's like a good standard to strive for. Just like try not to be completely wrong, only be partially wrong, and then that would be good. Anyway, Napoleon's response here is going to get a super quick third. So normally this third hatchery would be in the main base, but instead he's like, oh, okay, if you're going to go fast CC, I'll just get this close third here. So normally what would happen is, you know, you get the macro hatch in the main, and you get your third base a little while later once you've got your mutas out, and you get it at another main base. But in this case, he's just taking the closer third instead, which normally isn't ideal, but obviously here, because he's just used his third hatchery anyway, this is actually, well, it's going to be interesting. Let's see how, or see what the follow-up is from both players. Alright, is this scouting SCV going to get in? Looks like it might get blocked here. Yep, going to get blocked by those 2 drones. Not that I actually made it there. And oh my god, Draw is actually a genius. Man, I was all like, oh, okay, he's going 14cc, he's not going factories in the base. Actually, I didn't say he's not, but it just like didn't occur to me. And then Draw totally predicted 3-fact follow-up. Dang! Alright. So we got 2 factories here. Only 2 though, it's not 3. It is 2. And it looks like another scouting SCV has gone out. Is it actually going to go to the 12 though? I don't think it's going to go to the 12. I think it's just going to go straight into the main. So that's going to be interesting. In the meantime, look at this. Napoleon somehow like expects vultures to come or something. Like this is like a semi-anti-vulture SimCity type thing. Oh no! How did that thing slide through? Or did it not? I couldn't quite tell if that actually slid or it, what happened there. More importantly, I don't know how Napoleon knows that this is mech, because he's got a Hydrodem with Hydra speed. He's got an anti-vulture wall in. Is it just because he sees the barracks isn't blinking? Is that Overlord in range of the barracks? Can I actually check this? Oh, god damn it, Tupac. Oh, it is in range of the barracks, so he actually saw that the barracks wasn't making Marines. I think that's why he's expecting mech here. I mean, that's my only explanation, because he hasn't scouted the main at all, right? He has absolutely no other idea of what's going on. I think just the pure fact that this was not constantly making Marines has indicated to him that it's a factory follow-up, which is really smart. I mean, in theory, it could also be some kind of a weird, like, Vulture drop or Wraith or something, but even then, like, getting a fast Hydra Den's good anyway, so this is really smart. And look at this. He's getting +1 attack. He definitely knows now. This bag's not even landing anymore. He definitely knows what's going on here. And we do see the additional factories being planted just now. Interestingly, TTF, you know, instead of going straight for Goliaths, made a couple of Vultures first. He hasn't actually quite moved out with them yet, though. He's actually scouting around looking for the third base. I don't think he actually knows that the third base is here at the 12 o'clock yet. Of course, his Vulture did poke in here and get denied. He's actually going to fall now. He's not quite paying attention. Looks like we have Spire follow-up as well. And Vulture's going to poke down 6 o'clock. There might have been a Zergling there or something to block TTF's third, so he just wanted to take care of that if that was there. His SCP count here at the Natural is looking a little bit low. He's got a decent count in the main. Well, actually, the count in the main isn't very good either. Oh my god, he's just going for a 2-base all-in here. It's going to be a 5-fact Goliath all-in. He's getting siege mode as well. I'm not... Do you actually need tanks in siege mode when you're doing this? I'm not actually 100% sure how this is executed. I guess that you can have a few variations, but this is definitely all-in here. He's making a few more SCVs, but his saturation is very, very low. I'm wondering if Napoleon is good enough to actually tell by the SCV count what's going on here. I'm not actually sure. I mean, if you like if this was Flash, he probably could, right? But it's not Flash, or sorry, or Jadon, I guess, not Flash. That's wrong race. But not only that, it's that also foreigners sometimes like just have bad macro. So having fewer SCVs, like, you know, in pro games means that, oh, they're doing an all-in. In foreigner games, it means, well, they're either doing an all-in or they're bad. And it's actually, you can't actually tell which one it is. So yeah. Anyway, okay. So it looks like we're gonna have a move out here from TTF. And the Overlord is gonna see the rollout. So Napoleon should just start mass pumping Hydras right now. He did get a Spire, but I don't know if he has enough money to actually get Mutas. At least not in time to stop this attack. Although having said that, he is actually making some here. Well, he's actually making quite a few. Looks like he might be making a full complement of 9 or 10, in fact, from these 4 hatches. So we're going to have quite a few Mutas. Of course, Mutas are quite expensive. So depending on TTF's composition here, that may or may not pay off, but it looks like it's very heavy on tanks, and he even made a few Vultures as well because he couldn't quite afford additional Goliaths. And oh my god, he's actually making so many tanks here. He's going like almost 50% tanks. This is going to be really bad when all the Mutas come down. If he can just, if Napoleon can actually just clear out all the Goliaths, the attack is going to end right there. Oh man, one random Goliath dying as well. That is not what you want to happen. Meanwhile, the barracks is flying out just to try and get some additional scouting off, but whoa, why is Napoleon attacking into this? Dude, it's a 5-fact, he's gonna attack you, bro, just chill. Just wait like a minute and he'll come out. Just keep your pants on, dude. Alright, anyway, he's gonna counterattack here, so he's gonna kind of force him to that, I guess. There go the Mutas, no turrets anywhere because of, I don't think there's even an eBay. Is there? Oh no, there wasn't an engineering bay, he just didn't make turrets. So now building the emergency turrets in the main, but I mean he's already so low on SCVs. I think he should just go. I think he should actually just attack. Hilariously, he doesn't even have Goliath range yet, so can't even effectively really deal with the Mutas. He's a real pain in the butt. Without range, actually, Goliaths aren't that impressive. Oh man, every SCV is falling here. Holy balls! He just got everything just hugging this one turret over here just so it doesn't die. The other two can't even finish. So he's going to hold off the Mutas, but I don't know what he's waiting for. Like, when is the actual time to attack here? I feel like the time's already passed. I think he should have gone. He can't just keep defending here. I mean, his mech army is going to get pulled every which way by these Mutas, and meanwhile, look at this. Napoleon is going to get, like, double expand to the top left. Decide to go Queens, probably for Broodling. I don't actually see Broodling researching, but getting Queens and Broodling in response to mech is actually a reasonable choice nowadays. Just Broodling all the tanks and you're good to go. Although usually you see the transition a little bit later because there is quite a long period where the Queens can't do anything because you do have to wait for them to recharge that 150 energy, so it does take quite a while for gonna actually be effective. Meanwhile, looks like some counter vulture harass here attempted from TTF. Gonna get shut down pretty easily. Gonna get a few drones, but not nearly as many drone kills as there were SEV kills, unfortunately for TTF. So TTF is still just got everything idle here, and he's actually still not attacking either. I think he has to go very, very soon to have any chance here. Okay, it looks like there's the big unsiege. I mean, surely he's not going to try and just get a third in transition, right? This is still an all-in. This has to be an all-in. Alright, alright, now's go time. Alright, here we go. Here is the move out. One tank sacrificed already for 2 Hydras. I don't know how that happened. That was kind of weird. That should not happen. And looks like 1 Vulture actually not quite going to see that hatchery. That hatchery, of course, is irrelevant. Those expansions don't really matter. He just needs to go for a killing blow on the main and the natural and then start working his way across here. See, normally if this wasn't an all-in attack, this would be the time that he'd be taking a third as well. Of course, he just wants to spend every last mineral in resources, especially because the Vultures are really nice as a reinforcing unit. Super speedy, super quick to make, and relatively cheap as well. Only 75 minerals apiece, so they're a really nice reinforcement unit. So, well, looks like he's fixed these idle SCVs in the main. Canceling one of those turrets to get the extra minerals. I feel like he needs to stop doing this, throwing away individual siege tanks like that. It's such a waste. Looks like he's actually gone for a simultaneous Vulture harass. So instead of reinforcing the main attack with these Vultures, he's gone for a harassment on one of the fresh Expos. And while that is effective, because obviously all the units of Napoleon are here to defend, it's left him very vulnerable. And oh man, the Broodlings! Nice work on the tanks. The Broodlings themselves even killing one of the siege tanks. And yeah, TTF getting completely demolished. Look at this, the Hydras almost didn't even need to do anything. The Queens just took care of it for them. And that is basically the end of the attack for TTF. He's actually run over here to his Vultures, trying to just like use these mines to give him some cover, but he doesn't even have like any tanks on the top here or anything. He's actually gonna try and snipe down the Overlord so the mines do more damage, which actually, well, it got him one shot off. That was quite cool. And okay, he's actually just gonna sacrifice his units to do as much damage as possible. I guess he realized, you know, he couldn't actually run all the way home with them. I guess maybe he could have made it with some of the units, but obviously the Hydra's much more quick. He's actually just like targeting down Overlords because he didn't think he could get the hatchery. I don't know, if he had actually just right-clicked that hatchery, maybe he could have got it. But since Napoleon has so many hatcheries anyway, I don't think he would have cared. Like he has this one anyway, it's not even saturated, so he would just transfer the drones there anyway. Not that he even has drones here. Anyway, it looks like TTF now just going to try and make a comeback, doing some more sneaky Vulture harass. Just run back here, that's out of range of the sunken. But it looks like he's not really paying attention. It's alright. You got a few drones, and it's actually moving out again. This, I think, is a mistake. When you're playing mech TVZ, you really need, well, actually, when you're playing mech anything, mech versus anything, you need a critical mass of units to move out. You can't just, like, move out with small groups of units like you can with Hydras or, you know, some, like, speed lots or whatever. The mech army isn't that fast. If you get stuck, you can't really run away. And, you know, it's just not very cost efficient in small numbers compared to, like, a big death ball. The funny thing is, though, this is actually catching Napoleon a little bit off guard here. You can see most of his Hydras were at the top left after that initial run-in. So TTF is somehow able to walk all the way across the map here. I think this is also partly to blame. Napoleon's poor map vision is partly to blame here. He really should have some more Overlords covering things. Even if he's going to, you know, lose a few of them when the Terran army moves out, it's pretty crucial not to let the Terran just walk across the map and, like, siege up your natural like this. It's a little bit silly. Meanwhile, TTF is actually getting a third command center and thinking of making a transition, which is curious here. And you know what? Napoleon's going to attack from downhill here against his own natural, but oh, I forgot about the Queens, the Broodlings coming in, sniping a crucial couple of siege tanks and allowing Napoleon to clean this up really easily. Without those 2 tank snipes, I think he would have lost a lot more of these Hydras. But as it is, that is not good. Whoa, what's going on over here? Looks like I got some random mutas just chilling. And looks like some more Vulture harass. You know, I gotta say, at least so far this game, the Vulture harass has been fairly good from TTF. If nothing else, he's killed a lot of drones. And he's got a third base as well. So this could actually turn into a long game, despite the fact that it opened as like a 14cc into 2 base all in. You know, I mean, Napoleon's stabilized basically now. And TTF, he sacrificed a lot of units, but well, he's definitely behind. But, you know, you can definitely make a comeback just by playing turtley with mech and just, like, you know, staying on 3 bases, doing a lot of ultra harass, and just massing up a giant mech ball and rolling out again and hoping to get a really favorable engagement. It is certainly possible. Nice move there. Notice that he deliberately moved into range of the Hydras, so the Hydras would auto-target the Vultures instead of the Spider Mine, and the Mine would kill them. If he had actually kept the Vultures out of range, the Hydras would have just killed the Mine, I think. So a cute little move there. And, oh, ooh, nice, getting the 2 larvae as well. Like I said, pretty good Vulture harass from TTF. But unfortunately, he is now just going up to 3 base against, well, with his 5 bases, he's top left 2, not quite mining fully yet. But Napoleon is still in a very good economic situation. And look at this, he's got all of his tech available to him, is already on Hive. It doesn't look like he's actually getting any Hive tech just yet, but that's okay, because when you play against mech, staying on a Hydra mute is absolutely fine as a unit composition. Maybe eventually you sprinkle in some Guardians and Defilers and whatnot. And Ultras once you can afford it, but I don't think you can yet, because he's been losing so many rounds. The Queens, by the way, have really paid for themselves. You know, I was wondering, getting them so early is somewhat risky, because again, you know, you leave yourself vulnerable for a period of time until they actually have their energy. And they are fairly expensive. They cost the same as a Muta. But because he got them so early, he's had them so long that they've all gotten like so many Broodlings off already. And here we go, he's moving it again. This is not a good attack angle, but at least if he gets some more Broodlings off, maybe he can make it worth it here. Oh man, he's gonna get some more Broodlings. He's got more energy on these Queens. He's not really paying attention though. And there's a couple more, one more Broodling. And yes, he does get another Broodling off. He's sacrificing a lot of Hydras there, as well as a couple of his Queens, but he does get a good number of Siege Tanks, and this kind of trade, even though it might look like it's not that great for Zerg, generally, as long as it's not a horrific trade, any kind of trade in ZVT when the Terran's going mech is good for the Zerg, even if it looks like it's not cost efficient, or even if it is not cost efficient, you know, in terms of pure numbers. Just keeping the Terran ball whittled down and relatively small, just significantly delays when the Terran can move out. And of course, Hydras are very cheap and fast to reproduce, and the Zerg has so many hatches as well, so he can actually reproduce the army much quicker. The Queens probably not so much, so it'd be better if he would, you know, try and protect the Queens a little bit more compared to the Hydras. But yeah, if you can keep the Queens alive and just snipe tanks here and there, and you know, just trade away Hydras, that's definitely a solid game plan. You know, I don't know what this random turret is. It's like mannering a hidden hatchery. He wants some more Vultures broken out here, just gonna lay some mines. Gotta be careful. Oh. Hey! Oh, that could have been better. Anyway, my question now is has this just turned into a 3-base all-in? Because getting a 4th base on Jade is already very difficult, and if you're going mech in TVZ, I have to think it's like almost impossible. Because the 4th base is just so far away by ground. It's like, okay, does he take the 9 o'clock? He's going to go all the way up here. It's really far away. You know, if you look at the minimap, if he wants to take the bottom right naturally, it's to kind of go all the way up here. And it's just like really far away and really hard, really obnoxious to take in most matchups. And in TVZ mech, when you're, you know, already pretty immobile and you don't want to spread yourself out too much, it's really not nice. This mine, by the way, just keeps freaking me out. I keep looking on the minimap and seeing it there. I'm like, oh my god, it's a random Vulture harass. It's actually just nothing. Oh god. Oh no! Oh, got him. Got him. Anyway, so TTF is getting mined out in his main. He's actually getting almost mined out in his natural too, because remember, he did go Command Center first opening, so he's actually mined that out perhaps a little bit quicker than you otherwise might expect. Meanwhile, okay, glad that's not a drop. So I see he's basically going to be down to his 3rd base only in you know, maybe another minute or so, not even. And that's really going to put the pressure on him. And the problem is he hasn't really massed up enough units to actually just do a 3-base all-in, because Napoleon did a couple of good trades there where he got rid of a lot of the siege tanks. So I'm not actually even sure what his move should be right now. Although interestingly, look at this, Napoleon is really staying heavy on the Queen Hydra. He's actually just making them exclusively as well, not even adding any mutas whatsoever into the mix here. So I'm wondering if there's any way that TTF can exploit that. I think Mass Tank is probably not the way to exploit that. Well, I'm not sure actually, because obviously Mass Tank is pretty good against Mass Hydra. And oh, look at that, he tries to EMP the Queens, but he missed. That was a good dodge there by Napoleon. Very, very cute. Oh god, and this is gonna be bad. Oh man, he's got so many queens now. Here we go. The Hydra's moving in. That's a lot of siege tanks, and not all siege up. And when the broodlings go in, though, look at that, the tanks blowing each other up here as well. And is that quite in range? Oh my god, that one broodling somehow not in range. Okay, though, there we go. Goliath's moving forward. Try and block the queens, and actually that didn't go as badly for TTF as I thought it would here. I don't know how Napoleon lost so much there without getting a few more tanks here. It looks like he left a couple of broodlings unused, but he's getting more bases here. Look at that, even taking that 3 o'clock third base there as well. And TTF, despite, you know, what seems like a favorable engagement, they're just unable to move out here. Meanwhile, Hydra's now going to attack the 6 o'clock base as well. He's going to reposition his tanks to try and cover that, and he will be able to defend it, but he's just being besieged on all sides here, while Napoleon just gets more and more bases, spreads across the map. Boom, another broodling here. Man, really great use of the broodling so far from Napoleon. Let's see, the Hydra's on 3-1 now. Really nice upgrades. Any greater spire or anything? Ah, there is a greater spire. He seems to have forgotten about his meter clump though. It's still just sitting here. And it's so funny because normally you'd be like, oh, you know, mass siege tank versus mass Hydra, that's not going to go Zerg's way at all. But just by using these broodlings constantly, he's doing a really good job here. And no, looks like TTF can move out here. TTF actually, by the way, has a big bank of gas. I wonder if it'd be better if he made a few more science vessels, both for the Radiate and also for the EMP, which actually would be really good for the queens, because of course, unlike Defilers, which can just consume Zerglings and get their energy back, the queens can't do that. So every time you EMP them, they have to wait the full 150 energy all over again, which is actually a really, really long time. That's, you know, a little over 2 minutes there that you have to wait to regenerate the energy. So if you can actually hit the EMP, it's really nice. And oh, he's going to try it again. Unfortunately, the queen, I think, already used its broodlings, so it wasn't quite as effective. But yeah, really, maybe you should just start adding more vessels here, I think. I mean, basically, at this point in the game, Irradiate, D-Matrix, and EMP are all effective against what Napoleon's doing. But oh no, no Goliaths in the Force, and an instant GG from TTF with the Muta switch from Napoleon. And Napoleon takes game number 1 here, and will go on to the winners match. Aha! Alright. So, that means that we are going on to the second set, which is going to be Wands versus Terror, as you can see there. Don't worry, TTF is not out just yet. You will have another chance playing in the losers match. And now we're going to see a PvT, which should be very, very exciting here. But first, going to commercial break. See you guys in a bit.